The big segment tonight, there's no question political correctness has gone wild in this country. The attacks on us last week proved that beyond a reasonable doubt. Now there's a controversy over Desperate Housewives.
I know for a lot of women, the word menopause has negative connotations. They hear aging, brittle bones, loss of sexual desire.
Okay, before we go any further, can I check those diplomas? Because I would just like to make sure that they're not from some med school in the Philippines.
Wow. Now, after that scene, some Filipino Americans demanded that ABC apologize, which it has. And there's also a request that ABC set up scholarships and/or donations for the Filipino American community. With us now, the leader of the Apologize to Filipinos movement, Kevin Nadal, who teaches psychology at John Jay College here in New York City. All right, Professor. Now, do you watch Desperate Housewives? Do you know what? Do you know what the show is?
I know what the show is.
All right, it's a satire.
Yes, absolutely.
Pretty broad satire. Kind of dopey.
Yeah.
You know, very popular.
Right.
So, you know, why are you taking this seriously?
Well, you know, I think that the line that was said was just a completely unnecessary line to have been made, especially given, you know, the times and the types of attention that have been paid onto Michael Richards and Rosie O'Donnell for racial remarks they've made, as well as, you know, homophobic remarks that have been made.
But it wasn't about the group, it was about whether this doctor is competent to make a diagnosis on Terry Hatcher.
Sure, but what they're saying, though, is that the educational system in the Philippines is less than or inferior than the United States, and so what they're saying is basically anyone who's immigrated from the Philippines and has been educated in the Philippines is inferior to those in the U.S. And, you know, that's not true.
All right. I can see how you can draw that conclusion, but it's Desperate Housewives.
Absolutely.
You know,
it is Desperate Housewives.
You know,
it's a comedy.
Shouldn't we be overlooking this kind of stuff? Because if we don't overlook it, and here's the key question, nobody's going to be able to say anything.
Well, Bill, let me tell you. So I teach psychology, and there's been a lot of research that's been done on racial microaggressions. And what microaggressions are little subtle slights, behaviors, statements that are made against people of color and ethnic minorities and other marginalized groups that shows that adds up. And so there's a lot of impact that it will have.
Do you think in America that there's a lot of anti-Filipino bias?
Oh, there's certainly a lot of anti-Asian American bias, as well as some Filipino American bias that happens every once and again. You know, there have been incidents of Howard Stern and on that sitcom Frasier.
Yeah, but those are shock jocks. It's a different situation. Do you believe that the writers of Desperate Housewives sat down at a table and they're writing their script and they wanted consciously to demean Filipinos?
Well, I don't know what their intentions were, but obviously they weren't thinking when they did it because they didn't realize how much.
But it was a joke. They were making a broad analogy that offshore med schools.
Wasn't that nappy-headed posed joke? A joke.
No, but don't you see the difference between
that was the difference. It was
individuals, real-life people. All right?
So Filipino doctors aren't real-life people?
No. Okay. You could see these people. You could see their faces. You knew who they were. It was a team. It was also basically commenting on their physical appearance in a derogatory way. It was a personal insult. That's what he did. This one was a broad attempt to get across a line that Terry Hatcher wanted to see a diploma because she didn't think that this guy was competent to make that diagnosis. Now, I will cede you that one group was picked out.
Yes.
Filipino med schools. Should we be that upset about it?
Absolutely.
You really think so?
What I'm saying is that the impact of the cumulative nature of all of these racial microaggressions.
If they did it every week, I'd be with you.
Sure, but every single time a Filipino or Asian American or other person of color receives a comment of the sort, it all adds up.
Okay, let me ask you that.
And research shows that it adds to the mental health and the stress of people of color everywhere.
Okay, not denying that. You're a smart guy. I like talking to you.
Okay.
Do you ever hear the expression paddy wagon?
No, I'm not aware of that.
You've never heard the expression paddy wagon?
No.
It's a police van.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
And in America, that expression is widely used. Paddy wagon.
All right.
And you know where it comes from?
I don't know.
Here in New York City in the 18th century, there were a lot of Irish drunks on the street who were rounded up and put in wagons and taken down because they would hurt themselves and others being so intoxicated. So the slang grew up that police vans are called paddy wagons, paddy being Patrick. That's an accepted thing in America. Now, it's a slur, but Irish people, every time they hear paddy wagon, don't go wild and say, hey, you can apologize, I'm going to do that, and what's the difference?
The difference is when you get a group like Filipino Americans who is barely mentioned on television at all, and the one statement that's made about them in a very long time is a negative connotation. That adds to, or that's the only thing that you're going to hear about them. So you have someone who might be from the Midwest or from the South who doesn't even know what a Filipino is, and then they watch this show, watched by
and they think they're all a bunch of rubes over there in the Philippines.
Well, they might think something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, I think you have a valid point. And ABC, obviously, they apologized to you. And
They didn't apologize to me personally. They sent a statement.
yeah, but you're behind this. You're the guy.
Right. But I mean, I don't know exactly if all Filipino and Filipino Americans would.
Are you going to let it go now, or are you going to get money from them?
Well, I'm not personally trying to seek any money or any type of retribution.
Because I think you should let it go.
Right.
If they apologize and this and
no, but however, are they really going to apologize? Are they really apologizing if they haven't even promised to remove the clip from the show?
Okay.
They
well,
said they apologized.
I can imagine they would rerun it again. You're not mad at Terry Hatcher, are you?
Not
She's a
personally.
very nice woman. She's
Well,
just an actress.
I don't know her, but she could have stopped it if she wanted to. But I am saying,
But believe me, they weren't even thinking about it.
If ABC airings of the show from the online full episode as well as DVD collections.
And then you'll accept your apology.
Well, I will, but I know a lot of other people are still upset about the damage that has been done.
All right, Professor, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Coming right back with yet another inquest into the death of Princess Diana. This stuff is never going to end. We'll tell you what's happening.